This is where everything changes this year, okay? The way that you were raised told you who you think you are. So you view the world through that lens, right? Now, this is very simple. This part here is not complicated at all. If you want to see where you are for yourself, you could break this down into the simplest form of understanding. When I look at what I want in life, are the first things that come to my mind is why I can't do something? Or is the first thing that comes to my mind is how I'm going to make it happen? Very simple. If your mind goes into confusion, it's the same as looking at what you can't do. If you say that you've changed something over the last year and you've actually seen no change, it's the same as looking at what you can't do. Let me give you an idea about money for a second here. It's interesting when you talk to people that are raised under this tenet of the working class, because when you hear them talk, they'll talk about how everything is expensive and they can't afford things because they believe that they're working to pay their bills. That's what they believe. Rich people don't believe that. Rich people are not working to pay their bills. Rich people are working to create things that then pay their bills, like businesses or real estate or something that generates income that pays their bills. But it's even worse than that, because the working class folks think they can't do anything because they don't have the money, because they need the money to pay the bills. It's not that they couldn't change that dynamic. They truly believe that they can't. They look at where they are. Now, I've even watched this filter over into business people, right? A business person, they might start off, they're doing okay, and all of a sudden they're back in the same place again. They're working to pay the bills instead of expand the business. When you're looking at what it is that you would like to do and have in your life, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know if I can do that or not. Or you're thinking to yourself, I can't afford that, or someday I will get there. What you're really doing is you're breaking it down to the smallest common denominator, which is, do you have or have not the money to do the thing that you want to do? And I'm telling you, from this day forward, if you will break that crazy cycle in your mind, there's no limit to what you can create. You cannot think of whether or not I have the money or I don't, because that's not the problem. That's not the problem. You look at a working class person and they'll get out their computer spreadsheet and their bank account and everything, and they will show you, this is the problem. I don't have the money. That is not the problem. That's what they've been conned into believing is the problem. I've tried to explain to people that I was just as broke as anybody else that's broke could be. And I changed that in my life, and it doesn't compute. Like, number one, I don't think that they believe it. One of the things that they'll tell me is they'll try to tell me that they had a worse situation than I had, right? So they're going to double down on why they believe that they can't. The only thing that you need to be focused on is where you're going, okay? Where you're going. The problem is not, do you have or do you not have the money? The problem is not, do you have or do you not have the client? The problem is twofold. Number one, who do you believe that you are? And number two, do you have the ability to believe? Because if you rearrange who you think you are and you have the ability to believe, then everything else will come into your life. You don't need the money. You need the belief. But most people can't believe for what they want because they don't know who they are. They think they're just the average Joe or Jane, and they're grinding it out to the best of their ability, and they got problems stacked to the roof. And someday maybe they'll get there, as if, like the whole Santa Claus thing. Maybe if I'm a good enough person, at some point I will get a little bit ahead, and then I will be able to do something, which they won't either. Because if money does appear in those people's lives, like they win a lottery ticket or somebody gives them some money or whatever, they come across a little bit of money, for some reason, they'll do one of two things. They'll either spend it so fast, like It'll make your mind go, what? Like what? You got how much? What? I saw somebody get 100 grand one time, right? Broke as broke can be. They got it out of not even a lawsuit, like a claim on an insurance company. They gave them 100 grand. 100 grand was gone in 6 months. They spent it on all bullshit. Gone, just gone. They went on a buying spree, right? Like it's over. So you see that, right? The other thing that you'll see is some people will hold on to it, like they got a chokehold on that thing around the neck. They're not letting it go for anything because it's the last 100 grand that they're ever going to see in their life, and they're not going to spend it. Neither one of those scenarios is the problem, but that's the behavior that follows you when you don't know who you are. And I mean, know who you are. We say you're a child of God, you're a child of the universe. Again, whatever word you want to use. But that is the highest form of life that we're aware of. It's not just a neat religious or spiritual statement. It has all the power, all the creative power in the universe in it. But I've even watched people that are religious say, I'm a child of God, and they're as broke and as miserable as they could possibly be because they don't know what that statement means. You think you're the child of the environment that you came out of, but that's not true. That's not true. That's not your origin story. You've got to change your origin story. Your purpose, your desire, and your potential are all locked up in who you think you are. Who I think I am then determines what I'm going to believe in. I'm either going to believe in everything that I was told about the problems that I have, and I make the family that I came from with the dysfunction and the problems the king or the queen of my identity, and I stay loyal to that. I'm going to keep messing up. I'm going to keep being a people pleaser. I'm going to keep creating chaos. I'm going to keep creating confusion. I'm going to keep creating excuses because that's the agreement that I made with the people that I came from. When you look at your life and you go, I would love to do this, but I can't do it, it's because you've made an agreement not to do it with your family of origin. You have made an agreement with your family of origin to not be the best person you can be that you were put here to be. You believe that you are what they told you that you are. And you have all the rules and the habits, the history and everything all wrapped up in that. And every day you wake up not even knowing that you've got the power to just like go down a completely different road and start changing things. Here's another thing. Just ask yourself if this rings true for you, right? Some people, another way that they do it is like they create this illusion. I'll spend the money, I'll get in the program, and what they're really doing is they're waiting for the program to change them. They're not taking what I'm giving you every day and using it to change you. You're waiting for something to change, but you don't even know that you're doing that. Now, how do I know that? Because I was that person. First of all, I started listening to books and tapes and all that stuff in 93. I met Proctor in 96, end of 95, 96. I had made very little progress. Okay. I was just taking in all of this understanding. But unconsciously, what I didn't know that I was doing was by the assimilation of all of this knowledge, I thought something would just change. And I didn't know that till somebody pointed it out to me. And they didn't point it out directly to me either. They pointed it out to a group of people. And all of a sudden, like after, 4 or 5 years, my mind went, oh, I actually have to do something here. Now, that seems kind of silly, but in a very big way, it's not, because that's how we were taught in school. All you had to do was remember the information and you would go to the next grade. You didn't really have to do anything. A lot of busy work. In class all day, listening to teachers, going home, doing homework at night, so that every 6 weeks you could pass that freaking test. And as long as you could do that, you were on your way to the next thing. But that's a very dangerous mindset to then carry out. But that's how most people go into their life. They step into their adulthood, not realizing that the quality and the level of what they want their life to be as an adult is based on what they're actually willing to do. But if they had a childhood or teenage years where they were afraid, or there was nonsense going on in their house, or, they had some kind of trauma or whatever, then they didn't do much. So they move into what's easiest for them at that point, not what's going to challenge them and try to bring them to a different level for themselves. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. So what is this? What is this is the person doesn't know who they are. They don't know who they are, so they don't study what the tenets of who they are actually are. As a child of God, it says, if you will believe, you will get the equivalent of whatever you believe. But you can't just hear that and not do anything with it. But I promise you, it comes down to the level of what you are willing to believe for yourself. Every door is there waiting for you to walk through, but you've got to believe it. But here's what people do. They look at it and they go, I'm not spending any more money. I'm not going to do that. I'll do that next time. I'll do that another time. I'll do that later. Let me just process what David said for a while. And they don't step into the next thing that's in their life. When you make decisions based on the money that you think that you don't have, you're basically saying, I don't have the ability to believe. Because if you did have the ability to believe, money would never be the decision factor for what it is that you were going to do. You get scared and you go back into the idea that you're working for money. That's when people have trouble paying their bills, when they're working for money, because they're constantly running up against that. And how you got there isn't even your fault. That's how you were raised. You were raised in that crazy cycle of keep you running on that flipping hamster wheel for the rest of your life. Hopefully you can keep up with the deposits that have to be made so that you could be a good person. But that idea is that if you do these things, you're a good person. God's idea is you're a good person, so go do these things. Not a good person, a great person. The king or the queen of your life. Your life, how you live it, it's your realm. It is the place in which you rule your life. Everything in the universe is here for you to use to do it, but you behave as if you don't have enough. That's a lie. So number one, we want to change who we think we are. We want to come from the idea that we're the highest form of creation on the planet, and we have the access to all of that tremendous potential and possibility in us today, not next week, today. That means that you've got everything in you to deal with what's specifically in your life right now. The second thing that we have to do is to believe for the direction that we want to go. Because if you will believe, you will not stop it. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to call. I don't know where the people are. I don't know where we're going to get the money. It means I'm going to take action regardless of what I see in front of me. I'm going to take action in that direction right now. That's when you believe. Because when you do it the opposite way, you're still believing, but in the wrong direction. You're just reversing it. You're looking at your world and you go, I don't have whatever, so I'm not going to take action on it because I believe those outer set of circumstances. And then I don't do it. I don't make the decision. I don't book the trip. I don't make the calls. I don't ask for the sale. I don't spend the money in the direction that I want to go. You're not working for money. Remember, you're a creator. The tenets of who you are in the kingdom is a creator. You have all of the creative faculties within you. You're here to create. And what you create will bring in the resources that you need. So you're not working for money. You should be working to create. I'm creating a business. The business will pay for my life. I'm not going to go work every day to pay for my life. The business is going to pay for my life. But then you got that little hook going, but if I don't do that, then I won't be a good person. Well, guess what? You just kicked your own ass out of the kingdom, because God never said you were a good or bad person by what you do. You're an amazing person because you are a child of God or the universe. That means that you have the right to everything in that kingdom. It's yours. It's your birthright. It doesn't matter if somebody didn't tell you that as a kid. It matters that you understand it now, and then you take that back. And then the next thing that we have to do is we have to believe in the direction that we're going. We're watching people do it. You look at these wins that are coming in almost on a daily basis. I cannot stress enough. 8 billion people on the planet. You don't see these fucking numbers in most people's lives ever. They will never see those numbers because they don't believe in what they really are. They believe in what somebody else told them that they are. But this year, we want to go bigger, broader, further than we ever have before. So we want to make sure that doesn't mean more work. It means more authority. I must step more fully into the authority of who I am in my kingdom, and I must take my belief to the next level in order to manifest what I want. And if there's any area where I'm still working for the money, I want to change that. Because I'm creative, I want to build something that is going to bring me money even when I'm sleeping, that pays for my life. That's what we're doing with a business. A business is a creative venture. Don't be one of these people that build a business that they're like a slave to the damn business. They're working 18 hours a day. They're crushing. That's all of that shit's not necessary. That is all the people that are in business that have half a sports brain, and they've taken competition into that realm. There is no competition in the kingdom. There's enough for everybody. Okay, think about that.